But yeah, anyway, yeah, now we're going to move on to our little open mic here. And the first of our open mic performers is Nabeel Khimji. Right, Nabeel Khimji is a Tanzanian-born student at Stony Brook University, which, if you don't know, means that he unfortunately lives in Long Island. Yeah, give me an F in the chat if that's possible. But anyway, he's a student at Stony Brook University, majoring in philosophy and minoring in creative writing. His areas of creative interest include poetry and short fiction. The floor is yours, Nabeel. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, thank you, Lake. He understands. I hope everyone's doing all right. I don't have anything too heavy. I have a short trilogy of poems, and without spoiling or over prefacing, there's just a common thread running through them, and that's sort of the theme of reflection. 1. I was staring into the pond, discreet and brown, trying to find bits and pieces of myself, when Imran cleared the tall swamp grass. He approached me slowly, head tilted slightly. Is there something down there? The world I saw in those murky waters, underneath the ripples and the odd fallen leaf, was a duplicate of ours, except the blue sky, the ancient dusty green trees overhead, even my and Imran's sandy and olive faces were tinted so many shades of that rather elusive brown. Oh, there's certainly something down there, but it escapes me every time I go looking. 2. Imran took to the water rather well. Instead of his own doom, he saw in its glossy green surface a fin and a pair of gills. And when I drowned him, he simply swam away, like he'd been dying to slither past my grip all along. Meanwhile, I fell backwards into a dull little copper bucket. Sometimes I'll waltz to music from the pond. On a good day, it'll funnel down here, echoing gently across the walls, and I'll dance to 100 songs. 3. I chose mercy for Imran. And so even at the bottom of the shallow pit I dug, he lay neat and tidy, sporting neither a drop of blood nor a dislocated joint. As I shoveled tan, steaming hot beach sand over his freakishly long legs, I recalled shutting his eyes. Even lifeless, he carried on looking at me like he loved nothing more than to run his slender fingers through my forest of a scalp, and love me like we'd shared a womb. A tear hanging from my chin finally freed itself and plopped down onto his smooth olive skin, sizzling on impact, sending steam slowly swimming up toward the sky. The sun was ruthless, and I could tell that the sand was cooking his corpse. But Imran was in heaven, and I knew he'd understand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nabeel. One of the few great things about Long Island, Nabeel Khimji. Fantastic. Oh, by the way, while we're on the topic of Long Island, what bothers me the most is that you go like 1 mile in any direction and you're in a town no one's ever heard of. It's like truly ridiculous. Even people in Long Island just don't know the towns. It's whatever. Okay, I have too much family there. It's really anyway, second of our 3 open mic poets is Batool Rizvi, a good friend of mine. She's an amazing poet. She recently graduated from Harvard University. From Rutgers University. I get confused between the Scarlet and the Crimson. From Rutgers University. She has been writing poetry for 3 years and likes to experiment with different styles, languages, and form. Today she will be reading the poem How Hard It Is to Sing by Victor Jara in its original Spanish version, and then providing a translation.
Welcome everyone. So I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see? Okay. So yeah, this poem is by Victor Jara, and just a little background. It's It's entitled Estadio Chile, which is actually a very famous stadium in Chile. And it's actually where Victor Jara was murdered and executed in 1973 when there was a coup d'etat that took place. And he was very much outspoken against his government and like the abuse of power at that time. But during his imprisonment, he actually wrote this poem, Estadio Chile. So I'm just going to read the Spanish first and then translate it into English. Somos 5,000 aquí, en esta pequeña parte de la ciudad. Somos 5,000. ¿Cuántos somos en total en las ciudades y en todo el país? Solo aquí 10,000 manos que siembran y hacen andar las fábricas. Cuánta humanidad con hambre, frío, pánico, dolor, presión moral, terror y locura. Si es de los nuestros se perdieron en el espacio de las estrellas. Uno muerto, un golpeado como jamás creí se podría golpear a un ser humano. Los otros 4 quisieron quitarse todos los temeros, uno saltando el vacío, otro golpeándose la cabeza contra un muro, pero todos con la mirada fija en la muerte. Qué espanto produce el rostro del fascismo. Llevan a cabo sus planes con precisión artera sin importarles nada. La sangre para ellos son medallas. La matanza es un acto de heroísmo. Es este el mundo que criaste, Dios mío. Para esto tus 7 días de asombro y de trabajo. En estas 4 murallas solo existe un número que no progresa, que lentamente querrá más la muerte. Pero de pronto me golpea la conciencia y veo esta María sin latido. Y veo el pulso de las máquinas y los militares mostrando su rostro de matrona llena de dulzura. Y México, Cuba y el mundo que griten esta ignominia. Somos 10,000 manos menos que no producen cuantos somos en toda la patria. La sangre del compañero presidente golpea más fuerte que bombas y metrallas. Así golpeará nuestro puño nuevamente. Canto que mal me sales cuando tengo que cantar espanto. Espanto como el que vivo, como el que muero, espanto. De verme entre tantos y tantos momentos de infinito en que el silencio y el grito son las metas de este canto. Lo que veo, nunca vi. Lo que he sentido y lo que siento harán brotar el momento. So I'm just going to read the English version. Estadio Chile, how hard it is to sing. There are 5,000 of us here in the small part of the city. We are 5,000. I wonder how many we are in all in the cities and in the whole country. Here alone are 10,000 hands which plant seeds and make the factories run. How much humanity exposed to hunger, cold, panic, pain, moral pressure, terror, and insanity. 6 of us were lost as if into starry space. One dead, another beaten as I could never have believed a human being could be beaten. The other 4 wanted to end their terror, one jumping into nothingness, another beating his head against a wall, but all with the fixed stare of death. What horror the face of fascism creates. They carry out their plans with knife-like precision. Nothing matters to them. To them, blood equals metal. Slaughter is an act of heroism. O God, is this the world that you created? For this your 7 days of wonder and work? Within these 4 walls, only a number exists which does not progress, which slowly will wish more and more for death. But suddenly my conscience awakes and I see that this tide has no heartbeat, only the pulse of machines and the military showing their mid-wide space full of sweetness. Let Mexico, Cuba, and the world cry out against this atrocity. We are 10,000 hands which can produce nothing. How many of us in the whole country? The blood of our president, our compañero, will strike with more strength than bombs and machine guns. So will our fist strike again. How hard it is to sing when I must sing of horror. Horror which I am living, horror which I am dying. To see myself among so much and so many moments of infinity in which silence and screams are the end of my song. What I see, I have never seen. What I have felt and what I feel will give birth to the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As someone with a useless degree in comparative literature, I appreciated the diverse choice of poem.